Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we'll be discussing whether or not Muggles would have evolved the way that we did if witches and wizards had never gone into hiding. For centuries leading up to the late 1700s, individuals with magical abilities, primarily witches, were hunted down and persecuted by Muggles. In what would later be referred to as the infamous witch hunts, formal and informal trials were held between the 14th and 18th centuries, in which global communities tried and executed around 40,000 to 60,000 people. 50 to 70,000 more people were accused without being condemned. Among these witch hunts were the infamous Salem Witch Trials of the early 1690s, where the brutalities of the American townsfolk killed 19 people for crimes that included worshipping the devil and taking part in sinful activities. Around the same time, in the latter half of the 1700s, people with magical abilities, who had previously lived openly among Muggles, disappeared from Muggle society. This, of course, was due to the institution of the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy, a law that was conceived to protect the wizarding world from the threats of ill-advised Muggles, which went into effect in the year of 1689. This is also around the same time in history in which Muggles began rapidly evolving. In particular, we had the Age of Enlightenment, which according to Encyclopedia Britannica was a European intellectual movement of the 17th and 18th centuries in which ideas concerning God, reason, nature, and humanity were synthesized into a worldview that gained wide assent in the West and that instigated revolutionary developments in art, philosophy, and politics. Another giant leap forward for Muggles was the Industrial Revolution, which took place from the mid-1700s to the mid-1800s. This revolution saw non-magical humans transition away from making things with their hands and towards manufacturing items in large quantities by machines. As both the Age of Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution took place on the heels of the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy going into effect, it stands to reason that perhaps these advancements made by Muggles in and around the 18th century were made possible by the absence of magical influence. It's been well documented that prior to the Statute of Wizarding Secrecy, witches and wizards did not hide their magical abilities from Muggles, and would often use their skills to help their non-magical neighbours or friends. In fact, Albus Dumbledore alluded to this very thing in his notes on the tale The Wizard and the Hopping Pot from the Tales of Beedle the Bard. In the following passage, Dumbledore makes reference to the idea that witches and wizards used to help their neighbours with spells and other bits of magic, but began to refrain due to the heavy persecution of witchcraft in the 1600s. Many in the magical community felt, and with good reason, that offering to cast a spell on the Muggle next door's sickly pig was tantamount to volunteering to fetch the firewood for one's own funeral pyre. "Let the Muggles manage without us," was the cry, as the wizards drew further and further apart from their non-magical brethren, culminating with the institution of the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy in 1689, when wizardkind voluntarily went underground. Considering, then, that witches and wizards used to aid the Muggles in their community with their magic, it's entirely possible that people without the ability to do magic did not evolve before the wizarding world went into hiding, simply because they didn't have to. For centuries, living side by side with people who could magically build something for them, fix a broken bone or cure an illness, Muggles were able to simply rely on the more magical members of their communities. But when the magic disappeared, there were no more quick fixes to be had, and as a result, they needed to create solutions for themselves without magic. Putting their minds towards these seemingly new problems, Muggle society began to come up with more advanced and ingenious ideas. They built machines to help them manufacture items at large, and began revolutionizing their medical practices and political systems. And while it's obviously possible that the timing of the period of Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution, when compared to the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy, is just a coincidence, I rather like to believe that if those with magic had never gone into hiding, us Muggles would not have evolved as we did. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. What did you think? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live